Alright, welcome to the C++ Hello World using Xcode tutorial. I'm just going to show you guys basically the basics of C++, of the structure and implementation, and then how to use Xcode, how to run a program, how to write your first program, and we're just going to have a little bit of fun. So, first off, if you're going to want to learn how to use Xcode, you're probably going to need to have Xcode. So let's just make sure that you either have Xcode, or if you don't, we'll show you how to download it. So just check if you have Xcode. Go to your spotlight up here, type in Xcode. Okay, great, I have it, so that'll really help me show you guys how to use it as well. So I have Xcode, so I'm not going to re-download it, but I'll show you guys how to if you don't have it. So if you don't have Xcode, just go to Safari, Firefox, or whatever browser, go to Google, type in, hey, you know what, I'm looking for Xcode. Google's pretty good at helping you find things, and voila, there it is. You got a few choices, whichever one you wish to click on, just click on it, and there you go. It takes you to this developer Apple page. Go, hey, yeah, I need Xcode, so I'll view it in the Mac App Store. Okay, awesome, yeah, open it in the App Store. And it should take you right to Xcode's page. Okay, if you don't, for some reason, know how to use Google, that's probably a problem. But if you don't find it right away, just go to the App Store anyways, you know, the little icon right there. Or go to Finder and type in App Store. And then just type in Xcode. And it's this little icon right here. Just go to download. It should say download there, or purchase, or whatever it says on your computer. Install it, and it'll show you step by step exactly how to do it. Apple's pretty good at helping you figure out how to use Xcode. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm just going to close that. Okay, awesome. So let's get to writing it. So before we even start using Xcode, we're going to want to figure out how to write in C++. So let's get to that. So first off, this is just a title. I don't want this to show up in my actual program. The computer's not going to know what to do with it. I haven't told the computer what this line means, so as a title, I'm just going to want to have it as a comment, okay? So in Xcode, or I'm sorry, in C++, 2 forward slashes is equivalent to saying, hey, you know, I'm going to want to write this as a comment. Compiler, ignore it. And so this is telling you right here, hey, compiler, ignore whatever I write after it for this line. So the 2 forward slashes only comment out the line that they are on. Okay. But now say I have a paragraph of comments I want to write. Sentence 1, sorry. Yeah, well, sentence 1. Sentence 2. Sentence 3, and I just go on and on and on because for some reason I love writing sentences. So sentence, so dot 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 sentence, huge ass number. Okay, so we get that. Now instead of going through sentence by sentence and going, oh yeah, comment, oh nice, comment, geez, I'm tired, I'm really tired, I fell asleep. I just lost so much energy. Instead of doing all that, all you really have to do is use a different syntax for comments. It's as simple as writing 1 forward slash and an asterisk, and then at the end of your comment, just another asterisk forward slash. Now this entire paragraph or novel I wrote in my code is all commented out. So that's awesome. I don't have to go through and add forward slash, forward slash, forward slash, forward slash. I just have that little basic little syntax right there. I can make it even look a little nicer, break up the asterisk and the forward slash by adding a return there. Because C++ is awesome. What it does is it allows you to write whatever you want to write, and ignores spaces. Ignores spaces, it ignores returns. So whatever you write, it doesn't matter the actual format of it. For the majority of C++. And I'll show you an example once we get into writing our code. Okay, so I'll just leave that there. So we have our C++ Hello World using Xcode as our title. We wrote what the forward slashes do, and now we'll just get into writing the actual program, the body of it. So first off, we're going to want to use this #include syntax and write iostream. So you're probably like, what the hell does that mean? And I don't blame you. It looks kind of creepy, kind of weird. So all that #include is saying to the compiler is like, hey, I'm about to include a library. And all a library is a collection of tools or functions that are related to each other that allow you to do tasks easier or more conveniently, or just allow you to do a task that you couldn't do with the already embedded default functions that C++ includes. So we're going to include tools from a library called iostream. And what iostream does is it works with inputs and outputs. That's where you get the I and the O. So it's not as ambiguous as it looks like. So I and O stands for inputs and outputs. Inputs and outputs to where and from where? To the console, to your computer screen, to and from many different spots or many different sources, okay? But what we're just looking at today is inputting and outputting to your console or from your keyboard. We're not going to get into inputs, but we're going to look at outputs. And so the functions that come from iostream, from the library, from the collection of tools, is cout, which stands for console out, and then a tool called cin, which, if you can guess, stands for console in, or console input. Console output, console input, cin, cout, and vice versa. Okay, great. So that's what that stands for. Now a library, just remember, is a collection of tools. So include this collection of tools that are found at the library called iostream. Great. Okay. So we included those tools. It's going to allow us to see out stuff to our computer, to our computer screen, and it's going to allow us to see in from our keyboard, from mouse inputs. Okay. So we have that. And now we're going to use this little syntax called using namespace std. Okay, yeah, no, not sexually transmitted disease. It just stands for standard. It's a little shortcut for formatting. So in traditional C++, you write cout and cin statements using std, : and cout, and then whatever you want to write, okay? But that's really formal, and after a while, say you're writing 1,000 lines, 100 lines, 10 lines, it's just very tedious and very repetitive. So we just include this right here. It says using this namespace std. We're going to make it really relaxed. We're going to make our code relaxed. So makes our code relaxed. You know, you don't want to be stressed out. You just want to be chill. You want to relax. So this is going to make our code relaxed. It's going to use std format automatically. And so we don't have to worry about that. Great. Okay. So we have all of our setup taken care of. Now we're going to get into writing the actual function, our actual recipe, you might say, that's going to tell our computer, hey, this is what we're doing, do it. You know, it's nice. You have someone to control. You have someone to boss around. You know, take your anger out on the computer. Don't boss other people around. This is perfect for that. So you're just going to say int main. So this is how you structure the main function. So I just created this function called main. And what main does is it's the first function looked at when your computer or your compiler runs your code. It's going to say, hey, great, like include iostream and use namespace. And now what are we going to do? It's going to look at all your other functions, like function 1 or function 10, function like 100 or 1,000, whatever I wrote, like how many functions I wrote. It's going to ignore those, and the first thing it's going to look at is this function called main. And whatever you write in here it's going to do first before it goes to any other functions, okay? So we have our main function structured, and what we want to do is tell the computer to output a line of text that says hello world, or just a line of text, any line of text. So we're going to say, hey computer, cout or console out less than. It's just an operator saying, you know, it's just the syntax used with cout. It kind of looks like you're pushing something away from cout, so you're like pushing it to the computer screen. You might want to visualize it like that. It is important, you need it, or else your program will not run correctly. So you're going to say cout, and like I said before, spaces don't matter, so I could make it look a little more uniform. I could say cout, hello, you sexy world. Like, I just wrote my first C++ program using Xcode. Oh, using Xcode, exclamation marks. Okay, so you're excited about it. You're telling that sexy world that, hey, I just wrote my first Xcode program. And you're telling the computer, cout this sentence I wrote. Now notice my sentence I wrote is surrounded by quotation marks. This is crucial. You need this. This is critical if you're trying to tell the computer to cout a sentence. It's going to cout everything, or put it onto your screen, everything that's in between these two quotation marks. Okay? So it's going to cout this space here. It's going to cout this word, this whole sentence, this comma, everything. Don't need to worry if it's seeing out something. It's always going to see it out. Okay? And now, this statement we just wrote, cout, hello world, blah, 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 exclamation marks, we're going to end it. And the way we end a statement is using a semicolon. This is how we end all statements in C++. So remember that. It's very crucial, and it's huge to remember. Do not forget it, or else your program won't run. And nothing's worse than a program that doesn't run. You know? Alright, cool. So we wrote that. And now let's think about it. Our computer is going to show that sentence we wrote. It's going to output text that says like, hello, you sexy world. I just wrote blah, 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 blah. My first Xcode, okay. And those 4 exclamation marks. And it's not going to show that quotation mark. It's not doing that. It's just showing you that. And that's all it's showing you. That is your entire program so far. But hey, you know, like, let's add a space. Let's separate this just in case we were going to write another line of text. Our another line of text would be put right here. But we don't want our other sentence put right there. We want our sentence number 2 put right here. Okay? So in order to get sentence number 2 there, we're going to have to add a return. This return right here, we're going to have to add it. We're going to have to tell the computer exactly what to do. So we're going to say, hey, cout, oh, we'll make it uniform, cout, end L. Statement end with this semicolon. So end L, all end L does is say, hey, compiler, oops, add a line, add a return line right here. Add a return line right here. Right where I'm telling you to add a return line, add it. So your code looks like this. Main. Okay, I'm going to do this first, compiler says. I'm going to cout whatever he told me to cout. This entire sentence right here. Awesome. I got to the end of my my first statement. So I'm literally right here as the compiler looks at it. I just outputted this. Now I'm looking at this second line right here, the second statement, and it says, hey, compiler, add an end line. So it's going to add this return right here, and now we're looking at this little line right here, looking here. Awesome. Okay. And if you want to add another line, you can. You can say cout my code is sexy and it knows it. Because we're so excited. 2 of them. Awesome. Okay. End quotation mark. Don't forget the end quotation mark. Your compiler might automatically add it if you start with a quotation mark. Some compilers don't. And then crucial, remember, end a statement. You're going to end it right there with that semicolon. Okay, so now what your program is going to be looking like is, my code is sexy and it knows it. Ignore that orange. So yeah, that's what you're going to have. If you did not have this end line here, if you commented it out or you just didn't write it, your program's going to look like that. Okay? So it's pretty nice, and it's pretty important to understand the end and what it does. Okay, awesome. Now, you're all done. You want to finalize your program, and you want it to run correctly. So before you build it, before you run your program, you want to make sure it runs correctly. And in order to end a program correctly without error, you're going to write return 0. And all return 0 says is, hey, compiler, you ran through my code. Awesome. Good for you. Now you've reached the end. That's what this return means. You've reached the end of my code, and I want to end. It's over. So the compiler goes, oh, it's over. He said return. Okay, we're done. But did we have any errors when we ran the code? And they look at this return statement, and they see it says 0. 0 marks no errors. It represents no errors have been found while running your program. So the compiler says, okay, we're going to end right here. He tells me to end. And look, he said we didn't have any errors in the code because we reached this line. In order to reach this line, no errors were found. So it says, hey, compiler, end my program. And take note that no errors occurred. So that's what you're telling your little compiler. So your buddy understands that, hey, we're done, end it here, no errors occurred. Awesome. Okay, so your program you just said was over. But remember, you're inside a function. You just wrote your main function. And a function is surrounded by brackets, okay? So a function's surrounded by brackets. You need brackets or else it will not function correctly. Your function will not function correctly. Your function will not function as wanted to be functioned if you do not include these brackets, okay? So include them. If you want to see what happens, then don't include them. Your program won't run. Add them, and your program will run, okay? Also take note that when you write a function, you're going to want these two little parentheses, okay? I'm not going to tell you why now. It's not too advanced. It's just you don't need to know why right now, okay? It's just you're going to want to take little steps at a time. It's like a baby, you know? You don't teach it to run track first. You teach it how to walk. And so I'm teaching you guys how to walk right now. Let's learn how to run track later. And maybe we can pole vault in a month or two. Okay, so we wrote this. Let's take our code. I'm just going to copy everything I wrote here. Minus this little output screen I wrote down here just for your benefit. So we're going to copy this. Awesome, awesome. Copy. And we're going to go over to Xcode. Now, I already have it opened, but if you don't know how to open it, just go to Spotlight, type in Xcode, open it from there, or if you have it on your application menu, just open it straight from Xcode, or the application menu. Okay. So, I have Xcode open. I'm going to go to New. I need a new project. Okay. Right away, you see there's a whole bunch of choices, and you're just like, what the hell? So it's not that intimidating. You just need to know what you're looking for. So what we're going to want is a command line tool. And you can find this either under OS X, just the main category of OS X. It's right there. Or just go to Application, and it's going to be on the far right. Once again, it's called the command line tool. Alright, great. And you're going to hit Next. Cool, cool. And so your product name is the name that you're going to name your program. So we're going to say Sexy World. And I'm calling it Alex's Awesome Programs. That's my organization. And you can just name it whatever you want to. It's just for identifying needs. You don't need to worry about this. We're just learning the overall gist of it, okay? And now what is important is this type down here. You're going to want to make sure that you've highlighted C++, not any of these other ones. C++. Okay, and then we're going to continue with next. This is just telling you, hey, where are we going to store it? Okay, so figure out where you want it stored, and I'm just going to put it on my desktop for now, and then just hit create or next. And then you're going to be taken to this window that just has a whole bunch of nonsense going on that you're just like, yeah, I'm totally lost. Don't feel like you're totally lost, because you can just completely ignore this for now, okay? So just ignore all this here, all this over here, and just go right over here to your left. Go underneath Sexy World Program or whatever you named it, and go to main.cpp. So cool. Okay. So we have this main.cpp. Awesome. Okay. Now you'll notice that Xcode has automatically included this little segment of code, and that's I mean, it's good if you don't already have your code written. You could start writing it from here. You know, delete those parameters, delete this, and write your own hello world program. It's a little frame, or just write it in a text editor like I just did, and just paste it in here. And then, hey, okay, we're ready to run our program. So let's run it. In order to do so, it's pretty easy. You can use the shortcut Apple or Command R for run, or you can just go up here to product, and you can see it shows you the little shortcut, and just hit run. Okay, awesome. Build succeeded. So your program's going to build it, make sure there's no syntax errors, and then it's going to run it. So build succeeded means there's no syntax errors. You're going to have this code run. So let's see. Hello, you sexy world. I just wrote my first C++ program using Xcode. Woohoo! Return. My code is sexy and it knows it! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Awesome. Everything you wanted to be outputted was outputted. Now, what Xcode also tells you is, hey, your program ended with Xcode 0, which is exactly what you wanted to see, because 0 represents that it got to this line here with no problems, no errors, no hurdles it had to leap or couldn't get over. It got there, and so it returned this integer 0, saying, hey, no errors were found, your program ran, and it was awesome. It worked perfectly. You're a great boss. You told me exactly what to do, and I understood it. Your compiler thanks you, and it returns 0. Okay, so everything you wanted to happen happened. So I mean, congratulations, you just wrote your first C++ program using Xcode. And if you want to learn any further tools or want to see another project done, just look at my videos or my feed, my video channel. Kind of new to YouTube, so if you would subscribe, that would be awesome. Also, just look at other people's videos. You know, learn as much as you can. That's what's going to help you with coding. Also, there's some great tools online that you can find just by Googling around, saying C++ tools or C++ code environment. There's so many great tools out there. It's just ridiculous. You just need to take the time, get out there and look. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I hope you liked it. Take care.